Hi, my name is Quynh Nguyen, and I'm so grateful and I feel so privileged to have this opportunity to share what really matters to me and why I have a business. My business name is Q&A Event Solutions, and I first want to thank Sean Bierman for this invitation. I want to acknowledge that I really wanted to be here live with you and really interact with you. And the good news is I get to share this recording with you. What happened is I applied for a networking group. Today is the day that they're going to be accepting and inducting me into the group at the same time. And I really hold this commitment dearly. So I do hope to see you another time. This conversation is not just for you to hear. And I would love for you to have your listening in a place where you've never heard anything about events before. So we all know what events are like. We've attended them, we've purchased tickets, we check if there's discount codes, we hope that the event is free and there's food. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about in this conversation, but this conversation is really about you and your business and what events can do for your business. So the first part that I'm going to stand in is alignment. And what does that look like? So knowing your community is probably one of the best ways to connect, not just with your circle of influence, but with people that you may have never met before. Now, how did I get here? Events are something that I grew up with. I grew up in a family of restaurants and serving and hospitality, and then going to culinary school was definitely part of the beginnings of what I do now. So from having a clear and clean kitchen to full preparation and execution, I learned what it looks like to start from nothing. Now, events aren't just transactional. You can buy a ticket and attend and leave, and hopefully you had some peak feelings of good insights, and hopefully you got some contacts that will blow your business out of the water. But they're actually a training ground. They're an opportunity, the opportunity to serve. And what do I say? What do I mean by serving? So when I say serving, where I actually built the most momentum of honing in on my skill and relating is I moved to this new city. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario. It's a very different pace and very different dynamic here. And what that looks like is, it may be a beautiful day today. It's a blue sky, the sun is out, but truly, a lot of the time in the winter, it's gray. It's gray, it's dark. People will go running in the dark, in the rain, alone. So you can imagine if people are willing to go to that depth of being in solitude, what it's like in the social life here. Now, why am I talking about social life? Well, consider that your business is part of your social life. It's not who you are, but who you get to be, why you offer a service, and why I offer my service. So where I started to look at my community was through volunteering. And my business actually started off from volunteering at my church, serving with the women's Bible study. And then from there, I got this amazing compliment by one of the more senior members of our church. And she was just so excited that the spreadsheet I had made was not only just usable, user-friendly, but she really enjoyed that it was interactive, colorful. And she said, you have a gift. You have a gift where your administration can inspire people. And I was like, I love administrative work. I literally have a business called, or I had a business called Per Diem Administrative Services. It's because I knew that it was a skill that I could hone in on. And I want you to look right now in your community. Where can you serve? Who are you wanting to connect with that you can be side by side? And maybe it's not a professional setting, but it can be a colleague, a social setting, a place where you both give back and it's a neutral place. Please take out a pen and paper, maybe your notes on your phone, and take a minute to do that. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for taking a moment to look at who do you admire and want to build genuine proximity with. And this segment is going to be about participation. How do you participate in your business world? Now, what's really key about this isn't about how you are showing up, but how your business is represented. So the actual question is, how do people receive your business? So this is a great example because I started my business 2 years ago. And in that first year, there was a lot of discovery to be had. And what was really interesting was, I was just an event person. That's all I wanted to be known for. And in my networking events, I had met someone at a party, and we happened to be in the same networking group, and we became networking besties. We're also friends, but we are networking besties. And in the first year, she would introduce me as an event coordinator. And that made sense because how I described my work was that I created events, I had clients, I coordinated their events. It sounded administrative, which it is, but that's how she would introduce me. But I knew I was much more than that, but I didn't correct her because I just let her say what she had to say. Then a year later, she was introducing me. So I was kind of like, and it was at one of my clients' events. And I said, hey, for the past year, you've been introducing me as an event coordinator, but what I actually am is an event marketing strategist. I help businesses grow through events. And she just went, that makes sense. And for her, it clicked. So I kind of let her go for the first year thinking, I just coordinate events. It's this very mundane, ordinary thing, which is actually what happens. It is a result of what I do. But what I really do is I support businesses, brands, online retail, biotech, real estate, whatever it may be. I take what you have and I look at what would make a difference. Should you create your own event? So you have your own audience that you're curating? Is that actually what's wanted and needed? For the real estate companies and brokerages, that is. Or are you a brand? So should we find events for you that would make a difference that you should be at? That could be another option. Or should we have you collaborate with someone that's local? That's a different conversation. But the whole intention was the strategy behind building events was really what I was up to, and building that momentum to grow your brand and recognition through community. So that being said, this is an opportunity for you to take an audit. Now, you might not have all the answers right now, but what it could look like is, how would you describe your business? And then, how do others describe your business? And make a list of 2 to 3 people that you can actually interview. One can be a client or past client. One can be someone that you just met, networking, or a card that you just received. And one can be someone in your friends and family circle. Does your friend and family understand what you do? So take a moment to do that. Okay, so I hope that was very supportive in looking at how you would describe your business, and really welcome the feedback that people give you. Feedback is neutral and it's welcomed because it gives us the opportunity to really look at how people see our business. So that being said, I'm going to go into the final part of what I wanted to share. And I hope this part is really not really just the last thing I'm talking about, but it will carry the day today, that you leave intrigued and in curiosity. So the final pillar is consideration. So when I say consideration, people might think of, when I'm wondering if I should do something, I have this list of things I'm considering before I make a choice. That is a consideration. The other way consideration can be is really consideration of others. And in this scenario, it's actually about, and the theme of hospitality is business hospitality and etiquette. Now, I shared with you before that I came from a background of being a chef, working in a kitchen, growing up in a kitchen, in a family restaurant. And the things that I get the most pet peeved about is when businesses or people use jargon. So it would be industry jargon, or it might just even be acronyms. I love acronyms. I think acronyms are great for studying. I think acronyms are great for doing shorthand or writing things quickly. But truly, acronyms without context mean nothing. Sometimes I feel like they're just made up, and I'm supposed to read someone's mind about it. So that being said, there's a couple of things that I said that gave me the ick. Now, take a moment and look for yourself. What are things that give you the ick? The ick is kind of like, it might rub you the wrong way, but it doesn't bother you enough to do anything. Maybe it's like, for me sometimes, it's like going to an event and there's name tags, but they're not name tags, they're labels, and they don't have a permanent marker. They're using a pen, or maybe they're using even a white erase board marker as the marker. I think it's very down to the little things, the little details that really matter. So I want you to take the opportunity to look. How is your own business etiquette? Now, I just talked about very surface things, but the other things that I can think of is even going to a networking event. Sometimes I feel the hospitality on one side might not really meet what they were offering. That kind of annoys me. And the other side is when I observe other people attending events, when they serve themselves breakfast before the buffet's even open, or they're saving seats and they put, bags and jackets on chairs to save those seats, even though it's a first come, first serve. There's an etiquette to that. So I want you to consider everything that I've said today, up until this moment. Where could one small act of consideration elevate the experience for everyone? Okay, and now it's the time we get to wrap up this segment. I truly thank you for being here today. I thank you for considering your time a place for you to be and belong. I truly hope that not only have you been left inspired in a sense of maybe you had a new thought, or maybe something that you've been holding back on kind of resurfaced for you. But truly, I hope you're left in a place where you can take a new action, a new thing that you can do today. So I want to just really thank again the invitation, and I want you to know that business doesn't have to be hard. Relationships are the best currency, and the timing is always right. I hope wherever you go after this meeting that it's filled with joy, play, and you get to say how it goes. My name is Quynh Nguyen with Q&A Event Solutions, based in Vancouver, British Columbia, and thank you.